Jai Shri Radhe. Today is day number 100 of our readings of the 84 Vaishnav Varta, and we are up to the story of Paramanandas, starting with part 4. Sabko Jai Shri Krishna, Shiva Labhadi Shiki Jai Ho, Jai Shri Radhe. One day a certain king came with his queen on a tour of Vraja. That king was a disciple of Sri Acharyaji. After having the holy sight of Sri Govardhanaji, the king returned to his camp and said to his queen, "The sight of Sri Govardhanaji is supremely beautiful. Please do go up the Sri Giriraj mountain to see him." The queen said she would do so if she could go in parda, veiled as per her normal way. The king told her that Sri Govardhanaji is the king of Vraja and that there was absolutely no necessity for her to be veiled when she went. He tried in so many ways to make her understand, but she did not agree. The king then told Sri Acharyaji that the queen would not listen to him and was insisting on being veiled when she went to have the Lord's holy sight. Sri Acharyaji said, "No problem, bring her to the temple in Parada and she can have his sight before everyone else." The queen entered the temple and began to enjoy the sight of the Lord. He, in his Bhaktodarak form, got down from his raised seat and opened the door for all the rest of the people to enter. The crowd surrounded the queen. All her veils were pulled away from her body. She felt very shy and told her husband all about it when she returned to the camp. The king told her, "I had already told you that you do not need to veil yourself to go for Srinathji's sight, for he is the king of Vraja, and no one can veil themselves from him." At that time, Paramanandas had just composed 2 lines of a new song. "What kind of game is this? The enchanting lad Gopal follows no one's rules." Part 4 continued. Hearing this, Sri Acharyaji forbade him to sing in this manner. He suggested that he sing alternatively, "He plays in such wonderful ways." Bhav Prakash, the inner meaning. Up till this moment, Paramanandas was at the stage of das or servant. Therefore, he should have to behave and speak within those parameters. If the Lord wished to grace him with sakabhav, the status of his friend, only then might he speak on an equal level. Without qualification, one ascends not to other level nor relationship with the Lord. If one tries to stimulate this, one will fall down. When the Lord grants this in an unforced way, then only it will happen. There is also a second teaching given here, and that is that Sri Acharyaji's love is focused in Sri Govardhanaji, and for him he is supreme, and therefore such a friend should not be addressed in such a way. The way of love is that if the beloved does something which seems out of sorts, then one should say, "That was a fine way to play." That is why Sri Acharyaji stopped him from singing, "What kind of game is this?" Such words should not be uttered except by the Vraja gopis, who can speak to him as they wish. Paramanandas therefore composed the poem thus: Padarag Sarang. He plays in such wonderful ways. That enchanter Sri Krishna, protector of the cows, does not follow anyone else's rules. With his own hands he mixes milk and butter into rice and feeds it to the monkeys. If anyone tells him off, he opens his eyes wide and glares at them. He continues to jump onto others' houses, steals from them, and then gives that stuff away. Listen, Yashoda, to your son's behaviour. He takes the milk urns and breaks them in the courtyard. How can we bear such losses all the time? Mother Yashoda stands there and covers her lotus mouth with her hands as she laughs. She understands the real reason why that gopi has come there. Sri Acharyaji was overjoyed to hear this poem. Bhav Prakash. Paramanandas composed thousands of such poems. They reveal both childhood pastimes and also throw light on the Lord's secret play. The poet sang of every leela that he experienced. Sri Acharyaji had especially revealed the childhood pastimes to Paramanandas, and he felt their nectarian essence in his heart. He also wrote many padas about the secret leelas that also shine with the childhood mood. Part 5. One day, all the great Vaishnavas, Suradasji, Kumbandasji, Ramdasji, etc., all came together to Paramanandas' quarters. Paramanandas considered this his great fortune. They have all come to grace me with their presence, for a Vaishnava is truly one form of the Lord himself. Today Srinathji has blessed me. Why did he feel fortunate? Because he felt that the Lord was visiting him in so many varied forms. The Lord lives in all their hearts, so I am very lucky to receive this visit from them. I am totally satisfied that they have thus graced me. I should give them all something. With what might I please them? Paramanandas invited them all in, sat them on raised seats, and sang this poem. The dear associates of Nanda's son have come to visit me. They are all adorned with tulsi malas and lovely forehead marks, and they brighten up the three worlds. Love resides in your hearts endlessly, and the beloved king of Vraja lives on the lotus of your hearts. You have come to my house. What an indescribably wonderful fortune it is. The poet Paramanandas now declares, I offer all I have to you, to all of you, followed by Rag Bihagaro. Shri Giridhar showers his grace on those who have even a moment's association with his own devotees. No one remains in a fallen condition. All the misled reasoning and negative addictions are destroyed for someone who remembers Sri Hari or helps others to remember him. Sri Krishna becomes pleased with them. The immoving moves, and the foolish become wise, while the intellect becomes pure. The age of Kali, or even the deluding energy, Maya, can have no effect on those who even so much as knows a devotee. Paramanandas now decides to always sing their praises. Part 5 continued. Hearing these poems, the assembled Vaishnavas were very pleased. Paramanandas requested them to come to his home, where they should ask him whatever they wished. Ramdas piped up, O Paramanandas, out of all the Vraja devotees, who has the best love? Nanda Baba, the gopis, or the cowherd boys? Bhav Prakash. The reason for his question was that he knew that Paramanandas was always immersed in the childhood pastimes of the Lord, and that he was an accomplished Vaishnava. So he asked him to remove this doubt. Ramdas posed this particular question, because he knew that Sri Acharyaji always said that it was the gopis' love that was supreme. Paramanandas, though, described the Lord's childhood pastimes in many, many poems. Had then Paramanandas understood the essence of Sri Acharyaji's heart? Ramdas's question was a test. Part 5 continued. Paramanandas sang these two compositions in reply. Rag Nayaki. The gopis are the flag of pure love. They have captivated Sri Gopal. He braces them and they hold his arms around themselves. The sages Shuka and Vyas praise them. Uddhav declares them to be saints. These ladies of Gokul are the fullest good fortune and are the purest in this world. What is the point of being born into a family of Brahmins if you don't worship Sri Krishna? Only those souls are pure who serve this bliss-filled Lord, Sri Hari, says Paramanandas. Pada Rag Kanharo. There is no one on this earth who can equal the gopis. They have surrendered everything, including their bodies and minds, to Sri Hari, and always keep him in their hearts. The enchanter Sri Krishna is always in their company, and he cherishes them in his heart. Forgetting everything else, he calls out to them constantly. Brahma and all other gods, as well as Uddhav, crave for the dust of their feet. In those very gopis' homes, Sri Krishna dances for a little taste of butter. What can I say about the gopis when even Sri Hari cannot fathom them? The poet Paramanandas now says, what would I know? I am just a fool. Part 5 continued. After Paramanandas had sung these poems, the Vaishnavas began to praise him. He returned home. For many days after this, Paramanandas performed the Kirtan Seva for Sri Govardhanaji. Part 6. One day, Paramanandas travelled from Jetipura to Gokul in order to have the sight of Sri Gosaiji and Sri Navneet Priyaji. After doing so, he stayed there for the night. In the morning, after he had bathed, Sri Gosaiji entered Sri Navneet Priyaji's temple and called Paramanandas to come there. Paramanandas bowed low to Sri Gosaiji, who addressed him thus. Sri Thakurji loves all of the Vaishnava all the Vraja pastimes. Therefore, we should sing to him of all those leelas. However, even one of those pastimes can never be fully described, for each and every one of them is infinite. How is it possible, then, to sing of all these leelas? But I have managed to compose one kirtan in which all of the Vraja leelas may be experienced. Please always sing it at this time in the morning. Paramanandas requested Sri Gosaiji to teach it to him. Sri Gosaiji is a teacher of the path, and so he composed it in Sanskrit rather than in the colloquial. Rag Ramkali. Mangalam Mangalam Brajabhumi Mangalam. The land of Vraj is most auspicious and filled with blessedness. Blessed are Sri Nanda and Sri Yashodaji, who call out the name of their sweet child as he sits in their lap. Sri Krishna is the essence of all scriptural knowledge, and the auspicious sound of his name removes that pain of separation that his own souls endure. The lovely gopis, the cowherd lads of Sri Krishna's own age, and the herds of Surabhi cows are inextricably attracted by his form, like deer are entranced by the sound of the veena. Thus this land of Vraja is an ocean of good fortune. How auspicious it is when he rubs his smiling eyes, and the pearl ornament in his nose swings as he speaks. When his tender fingers play on the flute, the whole of the land of Vraja is enthralled by its sweet sound. When the flute plays its melodies during the rasa dance, all the gopis are captivated and confused by it and walk very slowly. May you always reign victorious, O Sri Krishna, upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, and look after us, your servants. Part 6 continued. First Sri Gosaiji sang it, and then Paramananda Das. He sang this pad and then some more in the same vein. Rag Bhairav. The utterance of the Lord's name is auspicious. His face and lotus-like hands are auspicious. And so is the care he gives to his devotees. His play and his worship are auspicious, and so it is to sing uplifting songs that praise him. Listening to and repeating the stories of his pastimes is auspicious, as he is the bodily form of the son of Vasudeva. Gokul and Madhuvan are auspicious, as this is fascinating form of his as the moon of Sri Vrindavan. It is auspicious when he holds up the Sri Giriraj mountain, and when he is Sri Yashoda's little lad. Auspicious are the cows and the dust of the realm, as well as his sweet flute playing. The gopis are auspicious as they embrace each other. And the foam on the milk-like waters of the Sri Yamunaji is auspicious. Auspicious are his lotus feet and his fame. Every single day when you meditate upon him is auspicious, say the wise men and Paramananda Das. Part 6 continued. When Paramananda Das had finished singing this composition, Sri Gosaiji received back from the Lord the offerings plate, and then he performed the ceremony of waving the lamps for the morning services. Paramananda Das then sang this poem, Rag Bhairav. Oh, my heart, early in the morning, wave the lamps around the Lord. The confusing separation of the night time is over. The symbols that keep the rhythm are auspicious. The auspicious form of the son of Nanda now awakes. The veena and the mridanga play their auspicious sounds along with the flute and the upanga. Auspicious are the lights and the incense and the sound of the voices of the devotees there. Auspicious is this rising at dawn. Auspicious is the rasa dance. Now, says the poet Paramanandas, my mind is also auspicious. Translator's note, the upanga mentioned here is also known as a nasa taranga. Two parts of a metal instrument are played close on both sides of the throat, and they enhance the player's vibrational sounds that they produce within their throat. Part 6 continued. Paramananda Das wrote also many more pads based on Sri Gosaiji's Mangala Mangala composition, which he regularly sung. Bhav Prakash. Indeed, with that composition of Sri Gosaiji, all the Vraja Leelas are mentioned, and so it was regularly sung to the Lord. Its recitation recalls every single pastime of Vraj. In his pada, Paramananda Das called the Lord the son of Vasudeva. A question arises here. Why did Paramananda Das, who is a devotee of the Lord as Nanda's son, call him by this name? The explanation is that, in the Venu Geet and also in the Yugal Geet, the gopis called Sri Thakurji Devaki Sutra, the son of Devaki, in the mood of the Kumarikas. This is because these Kumarikas called Sri Yashoda mother, yet they regarded Sri Krishna to be their husband. If they called him the son of Yashoda, then he would be as their brother. Calling him Vasudeva's son here comments their mood of his being their husband. We conclude the reading here, and we'll continue with part 6 tomorrow. Jai Shri Krishna Radhe Radhe Ji Shri Vallabhadi Shakhi Jai Ho.